Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. I think we all know what today's headline is going to be. It is going to be on the Trump announcement from yesterday about a strategic Bitcoin reserve under executive order. It was the big news, and we got a giant market dump off of it because of how Trump said he was going to do that. And we'll kind of have to break this down because the news article that I looked at kind of touches on some of what I wanted to look at. It is not as clear as everyone thinks it is. There is a lot to break down on this. Executive orders are not as all-encompassing as everyone would like to think they are. So we will dive on into that as the show goes forward. But let's hop over to that stock heat map. We've got a lot to break down for the morning. We've got Apple sitting down at 0.17, and in the pre-market sitting down at 0.25. We've got Nvidia sitting down 5.74. Massive move to the downside in the pre-market, looking to take back some of those losses though, sitting up 0.97. We've got Berkshire Hathaway sitting down in that neutral range, down 0.13 in the pre-market, looking to take back those losses, sitting up 0.13. We've got Amazon sitting down 3.68 in the pre-market, sitting quite neutral, down 0.09. We've got Eli Lilly sitting down 1.82, and in the pre-market sitting in that neutral range, down 0.36. We got ExxonMobil sitting in the green, up 2.07 off of that oil data from the other day, and in the pre-market sitting up 0.59. We've got Tesla also sitting down quite big, down 5.61. In the pre-market, sitting just outside of that neutral range, down 0.64. We got P&G is sitting in that neutral range, sitting up 0.03. In the pre-market, also sitting quite neutral, down 0.16. We got Microsoft sitting down 1.03. In that pre-market, sitting down 0.31%. We've got Google sitting down 0.45, so looking quite neutral, unlike the rest of those tech stocks. In the pre-market, looking a little bit green here, sitting up 0.14. And to wrap that on out, we do have Meta sitting down at 4.35. In the pre-market, looking quite neutral though, sitting down 0.12. Let's hop over to that stock side, to that crypto side of things. We do have a bit of a mixed bag on that daily. A few outliers like SWI, Shiba, DOT, Leo, HBAR, and BCH, and Tron. We did talk about HBAR yesterday, and we will kind of have to dive back into that one. I did see Aave requested in the chat. Let me get that one added to the list. Aave and HBAR. Go ahead and drop some other alt requests for me, and we will get those added to the list. But we do have Bitcoin sitting down 2.4 for that daily. We got Ethereum down 4.2, XRP down 2.6. We've got BNB looking quite neutral, sitting down 0.5. We've got Solana sitting down 4.8. We've got Cardano sitting down 7.2. Dogecoin sitting down 2.9. We've got Tron sitting up 0.6. We've got Pi sitting down 4.1. Chainlink sitting down 1.7. We've got HBAR sitting up 1.9. Stellar Lumen sitting down 1.2. We've got Leo sitting quite neutral, up 0.46. We've got Sui up 4%. We've also got Avalanche sitting down 5.4. Shiba sitting in that neutral range, up 0.5. And we've got Litecoin down 1.6. And Bitcoin Cash up 0.7. I see Sui requested by Jesse. Let me get that on the list there, because we can definitely take a look at that one as well. Let's hop over to that economic calendar real quick and see what today's data is bringing our way. We do have a bit of data that will be coming out this morning. That's going to be from the US, those average hourly earnings month over month and year over year, looking like a decrease on that month over month, that year over year looking to hold steady. We do also have some unemployment data coming out of the US. Government payrolls, manufacturing payrolls, and non-farm payrolls will be coming out at 8:30 as well. This will be a big market mover with that unemployment rate looking to kind of hold steady on that at 4%. We are looking kind of like we are at a nice hold range if we can keep this unemployment rate at about 4%, which the Fed sees as a max unemployment for being able to keep rates where they are and then potentially cut further. As long as the rest of that data looks good, then we will kind of have to see if we can keep that at that rate. We do have several Fed chairs speaking today. Fed Bowman at 10:15, Fed Williams at 10:45, Fed Kugler at 12:20. We also have at 12:30 Fed Chair Jerome Powell will be speaking. We also have a little bit later Fed Kugler speaking again at 1. So another a big day for Fed Chair speaking. We will have to see what they're saying, especially after yesterday's announcement, and kind of break that all down, see their thoughts on things. Let's hop over to those fear and greed and liquidation heat map. We do have the stock side still sitting in extreme fear. I do think we sit here for quite a while. You know, it is a very unsure market for now, especially with Trump saying, oh, we're going to have tariffs. Oh, we're not going to have tariffs. Oh, we're going to have tariffs on this. Oh, we're going to pause for the auto industry. So there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, and this has been keeping us in extreme fear for the stocks. We do have us back in fear for the crypto side of things, up 9 points as we try to maintain some of these levels. So we will have to dive into that Bitcoin chart and see what we're seeing for that here in a second. We do have some liquidity sitting to the top side of us, so if we can get back up to that key level I was talking about yesterday and actually maintain it as some support, we might be able to make this move back up to about $92,000, where we have a lot of liquidity residing. This runs all the way from 91,200 all the way up to 92,000. So a giant range of a lot of liquidity residing right above us. We do have that 3-day looking quite bear on both sides. This is kind of what you want to see when you're trying to make that pushback to the upside. You do have that 1 week with those hot spots still to the top side of us. They are not very heavy hot spots. We do have that hottest spot at 95,200. There's also that 2 week, which is looking pretty bare as well, except for that giant hotspot back up at that $95,000 range, and that 1 month is looking quite similar, but that hotspot is up at that $100,000 range. So a lot of liquidity on these higher turn time frames to really drag us back up to the top there. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart and say good morning to the chat. I see Jesse Gulak in here. We've got Crypto Billy in here. He said, let's take a look at Move. I have not heard of that project, but we can get that added to the list. He said it's on Coinbase, so and we'll definitely have to take a look at it on that Coinbase chart. We've got Baba Yaz in the chat, all set in here. I see Crypto Bedell. Good morning to you. I will see you this evening on Crypto Coin Mindsets channel. Let me get that link pulled up. He does a Friday stream every single week where we just sit back and we have some fun. So definitely looking forward to hopping on that tonight. Have not been on a Friday show before, so looking forward to it. We've got Alexander G in the chat. Good morning to you. I see Jesse Gulek's paying attention to the Discord. He said, BC, you made me listen to Kid Cudi again. Yeah, I was listening to Kid Cudi this morning. I was getting ready for the stream. We've got Mike Volmer in the chat. Good morning. We've got Paul Caruso. Good morning to you. We got Mike Volmer, Arsan246, and the Mod Queen in the chat as well. Says she's listening in. Good morning to you. Hope you're driving safe and getting that coffee in. All right, let's hop into this Bitcoin chart real quick and break it on down. We've got some potential if we can get above some of those key levels I had talked about yesterday. We've got this range that we have been unable to maintain. This is that buying range, which we got a wick off of back at the beginning here. This is the top side being that first little launch off point, and this bottom side being that wicking action to the bottom. We have had a lot of play off of this 90,800, and that's that first area we're going to need to turn into some support if we want to continue this upside movement. You can kind of see here we've got a very hard rejection to the downside off of that, and we kind of lost that 382 along the way down and got a nice clean little bounce off of my bottom side line here. There is a bit of some wicking action below that, but saw really strong buying coming in as soon as we got down to that range. We're now sitting right back at this green box here, looking for some more play in this range as we try to see how the markets accept or deny Trump's executive order. We did see that big downside action off of that announcement yesterday, and we'll kind of have to see if we get some surety from that today. You know, we'll have to break that down though as we get to that article. We do have that 1 hour looking like it's got a little more room to run to the upside here. We've got the MACD running kind of sideways here, so we would need some more volume to come in here, but it looks like that money flow is kind of rolling over here just a little bit as this MACD and Prime Oscillator are both moving sideways. Your volume is quite selling volume here on that 1 hour, so we will need to see that money flow bleed over from those shorter term time frames to really continue this pushback to the upside. Try to get back up to that 90,800 level. That's that area that we got that little bounce off of yesterday before we really tried to hold this green box here. We got that play off of the bottom side, really rejected off of that 90,800 to the bottom side before we got that move off of that 382. Looking for this to kind of hold all over again after that Trump dump from yesterday. We do have that 15-minute looking like you have the potential for some continuation to the upside here if you can get this money flow to really come back in. We are maintaining in the green here, looking for a little curvature to the upside as both the prime oscillator tries to cool off a bit and your MACD is running quite sideways with your indicator line. If we are unable to get back into this green box, I'd look back down at that 382 all over again and really see if you can get that money flow to come in quite heavily all over again. You can see there's a lot of buying pressure below that 382. Probably some limit orders set down there. So we will kind of have to see what this morning brings our way, as the MACD and Prime Oscillator are a little bit indecisive here as we approach this green buying box all over again. I do see a Silver Days XRP in the chat. Good morning to you. I see Ernie in the chat and Al Jr. as well. Good morning to you all. Hope you're having a great day. Let's hop over to that news article. I gotta get that pulled up real quick. Let me get that pulled up, and then we will dive on into that. There we go. Oh, I guess did not have that pulled up. Let me get that pulled back up. I did have it on my other device, and I was trying to get that moved over to my PC. So let's get that pulled up. There we go. All right. Got that pulled up for you. We do have Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. President Trump signs executive order. U.S. President Donald Trump Thursday signed an executive order to establish a Bitcoin strategic reserve to hold assets seized by the U.S. government. The order also mandates the creation of a digital asset stockpile for other types of crypto assets, a store of seized cryptocurrency. Initially, the assets stored under the order will be those seized by the U.S. government in various criminal cases, while House AI and crypto czar David Sachs described the Bitcoin reserve as a digital Fort Knox for the cryptocurrencies, adding that the country will hold them long-term without selling. The executive order follows days of speculation after the president first hinted at the crypto reserve on his Truth Social account. Initially, he posted that XRP, Solana, and Cardano would be included in the strategic reserve. However, he later stated that Bitcoin and Ethereum would also be part of it, calling them the heart of the reserve. According to Arkham Intelligence, the U.S. government currently holds a total of 18.28 billion in cryptocurrencies. The largest holding is 198,109 Bitcoin, worth 17.87 billion, followed by Ether, worth 119 million, and Tether, worth 122 million. The government holds tens of millions in other tokens, but none of the seized holdings include XRP, Sol, or ADA. Proper accounting is pending. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin owned by the federal government that was forfeited as part of a criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings, Sachs noted in an ex post. He also claimed that the U.S. government has never fully audited its seized crypto holdings. The new executive order directs a full accounting of the federal government's digital asset holdings. The Treasury Department's Bitcoin holdings will be used to seed the reserve, while other federal agencies will evaluate their legal authority to transfer their crypto holdings into it. The order further instructs the Treasury and Commerce Secretaries to develop budget-neutral strategies to acquire more Bitcoin for the reserve. However, these purchases must impose no incremental cost on the American taxpayers. Despite the announcement, Trump's executive order failed to boost the crypto market. Bitcoin lost 5% in the last 24 hours, with Ether experiencing a similar drop. And we'll kind of have to break this down here because there's a lot to untangle. Executive orders are not all encompassing. He does have the power to kind of direct the bodies of government directly under him, but he does not have the power to spend money. That is all on Congress. I do have this little checks and balances chart pulled up here. As you can kind of see, he proposes the laws, administers the laws, commands the armed forces, appoints ambassadors and other officials, conducts foreign policies, and negotiate treaties, while you have the legislative branch, which is Congress, writes the laws, confirms those presidential appointments, ratifies treaties, and here's this big one, grants money. While he says that he wants to have the body of government under him, that Treasury Department, find a net neutral way to buy more Bitcoin, you have your government running at a massive deficit. So if you are already running at a deficit, how do you find a net neutral way to buy these cryptocurrencies if you're already running at a giant deficit? You don't have all of this extra money to be able to spend here if you're running at a deficit. So you will need Congress to approve these funds to be bought to buy these cryptocurrencies. This is why he's trying a roundabout way to take assets seized by the DOJ, which is a completely different branch, and he cannot take those assets from them. So we will kind of have to see how this all plays out. I don't think it is as bullish as everyone seems to think it is. You had X going absolutely crazy last night. Everyone like, oh, it's so bullish. And then they're seeing, oh, he's not actually going to buy anything. But, if they're not selling the assets, that should be a little bit bullish. They kind of have to figure out the legality of them holding these seized assets, which the government is unable to use seized assets legally. They would have to sell these assets and then turn around and buy them back. So we will have to see how this all plays out. I see Lunar Beaches Crypto saying they are not selling BC. Yeah, and that's for now. If they want to use these seized assets, they legally would have to sell them because the way that the government is set up, you cannot use seized assets like that, especially at the executive by the executive branch. You are taking money from one branch, your judicial branch here, and you're trying to take that and move that over to the executive branch. You would have to have the approval of your legislative branch to do so because they are in charge of money, which is why this money has just sat there since it was seized in 2012. They don't know legally what they can do with this money. So we'll kind of have to see what further clarity we get on this. We have Darren Does Things. I think everyone is being about the stockpile reserve. There's two different things. All seized assets into a stockpile, no further buying. Reserve is used for buy with budget neutral policy. And that's where that budget neutral policy, their budget is running at a massive deficit. So that's going to be kind of hard for them to navigate. We will kind of have to see how that goes going forward. They're not running very neutral right now, so we'll have to see how that does going forward. Let's get that closed out and hop into some of this TA here. We did have a few things I was taking a look at yesterday. We got silver looking to lose that range I had talked about. We're slowly losing that this trend line here as we're moving down to the bottom side, but cooling off quite heavily. I did talk about wanting to see us retest some of the levels here at $32 and about 90 cents. There is a bit of an order block in this range. If we're unable to maintain that, I would look all the way back down to that $32.58 there. There is a bit of a fair CME gap here in this range with an order block below it, so a lot of buying pressure could head that way. If we do drop down that far, I would look at this retest of the lows down here, which was also the highs from that initial push up though. I was taking a look at gold as well. Let's hop into that chart. We do have us right back at that level I was talking about yesterday, that $2,917, and looking to make some strength here. We do have money flow coming in quite positively on this 1 hour. Let's get that demonstration tool pulled up. We got that money flow coming back in on gold as your volume is starting to be buying volume as well. You do have your prime oscillator looking a little bit toppy as we are getting back up to this golden pocket here on an extension. That's that first little area I was talking about being some potential resistance here as we make this move back to the upside. We can turn this 2,917 back into some strong support though and continue that move to the upside. You have that $2,938 above that golden pocket, which would be that next little area I would look for. Let's see what the chat's saying. We've got let's see, they never sell that Bitcoin. Actually, they've sold a lot of that Bitcoin. You've had a lot of money moved from that. They've done it in little trickles there. So we'll kind of have to see if they continue that selling, because they've moved a lot of that onto exchange. I've talked about that here on the Piper Academy quite a bit. You know, they've moved trickles and trickles over and over. They haven't actually sold any more of that though. So we will kind of have to see if they keep that or if they sell it. Yes, the administration cares. Now, the last one didn't and got slapped by the SCOTUS a few times, says the Dusty Hunt. He said that stockpile from day one, so it's not surprised, says username. I'm not surprised either. He is trying to do things. He often talks before he actually has the actual surety on things though, because you saw that last administration said things that he wanted to do and then found out on the back end that he couldn't actually do those things, so he had to try to roundabout things. They haven't sold Bitcoin in all of these years, and suddenly Trump moves it and they're like, oh my god, they're going to sell. Dive into it further. They have sold quite a bit of Bitcoin, so they've sold over and over and over again. It hasn't been massive amounts, but they do sell. They do sell that Bitcoin, and it's more when that has been released by the DOJ. They have to hold that Bitcoin for a set amount of time after a case is done, and then they are allowed to sell that asset. The government is not allowed to seize your assets and then use your assets. That is illegal. So we'll kind of have to see how this goes going further. Let's hop into some of these bonds, because I have seen these bonds getting bought up quite heavily. We did see those euro bonds seeing a little bit of a sell-off yesterday after Germany decided it was going to spend $800 billion on their defense. So let's take a look at that dollar and euro pair here. You can kind of see the US dollar is losing quite a bit of strength here against the euro. Let's zoom that on out and see where we're sitting on a fib retracement here. It's been a while since I've taken a look at this chart. We've got that bottom to the top here, and you've got us sitting right at about that 50% fib line. We are losing that 50% fib right now as our daily looks like it's got heavy money flow coming out. Biz Knowledge said, I just looked it up, dude. The last auction was 2014 through 2015, and then a small sale of March in 2023. So what you're saying is that they sold Bitcoin in 2023, which is what I've been saying, that they sell small amounts over and over again. They did so in 2014 after that initial Silk Road was done and said. So they continue to do this. We had I can't remember what police force it was, but they moved a lot of Bitcoin onto exchange, and I'd have to go back and look when exactly that was, but they've moved quite a bit of Bitcoin onto exchange. It's not massive amounts compared to their almost 200,000 Bitcoin holding, but it is a decent amount. and these are from different cases, so we'll kind of have to see how that goes going forward. You do have some oversold signals here on this US dollar euro pair, and we are looking to try to find a bottom. I would look back at this golden pocket here. That's going to be about 90 cents to the euro to kind of see if we can find some strength here. We do see a lot of sell-off against this pair. This is why you've also seen those euro stocks doing quite well here. So looking for that potential continuation to the downside as we try to find some strength with the dollar and see a little more surety from Donald Trump. We will kind of have to see if we see those tariffs actually coming into effect or if he's going to continue to backtrack on some of these. This is why you've seen a lot of unsurety in these markets, and you've seen the dollar selling off against a lot of these currencies. You do have the Dixie making continued moves to the downside. I did talk about wanting to see us get back down to this 102.93 level and see if we could make some strong support there. It does look like on this daily chart you might see a continuation to the downside, though, looking like that MACD is pointed quite heavily to the downside. You are starting to see some oversold signals, but your prime oscillator is heavily red. Your true 7 is barely starting to clip here, and your volume is very heavily in the red. So looking for that money flow to come in just like the rest of all of these assets to kind of rescue us at key levels. But if we do continue that downtrend, there is some bottoming levels a little bit under that, where we've got this level right here at about 100 even. And if we are unable to maintain that, I would look all the way back down here at this 382. We will probably see a little bit of bouncing action here, try to get back up to that 236 before we really continue that trend down. Your dailies looking a little bit bearish, your weekly also looking quite bearish here. You can see your MACD just broke that indicator line on the top side and looking heavily down, as your volume here on the weekly is also turning to some selling volume, and you've got that reversal signal that is finally starting to play out with your prime oscillator being heavily red and your true 7 on the way down. Looking quite bearish for the dollar for now as we wait for more surety from the Trump administration. I did have several altcoins requested here. We've got Aave, HBAR, SWE, and Move. Any other things that, any other altcoins you'd like me to take a look at, or TradFi assets either? I know we talked a bit about XRP in the chat, so I can definitely take a look at that if you want me to take a look at that one. We've got yeah, stealing from the Russian extortionists is a bad thing, says the Dusty Hunt. Oh my goodness. And I'm guessing that's towards that 2023 was the FBI who seized from two brother scammers that was sold. Yeah, and that's, you kind of have to just wait for those court cases to be done before the government can actually do anything with those. There's a set amount of time you have to hold seized assets. The same with money. They have to hold seized money for a certain amount of time before they can do anything with it. And they are not allowed to actually turn around and buy anything with this. They have to first get rid of it and then use the profits or other things like that and then go forward. Same with like seized assets like cars. This is why the government sells those cars from drug dealers when they get caught, and then they do something with the money. They're not allowed to just be like, oh, well, we took your car, so now we're just going to use your car. That's not how this works. So seized assets have to be gotten rid of first. We got Aave, HBAR, SWE, Move, and Aptos. Let's take a look at Aave first. I was talking about Aave the other day. Let's get into that chart. Let me find it on the list there. It's a little bit lower. There we go. Sitting at some levels I wanted to see hold. There we go. I guess I forgot to draw that line out there. We had this line back here that I'd wanted to see us hold, where we got this nice little push off to the upside. We did have a lot of candle bodies that were closing with some wicking action to the bottom side of it. We get that level drawn back out. And we're right to the bottom side of that, looking to reject a little bit lower here on this 4 hour. As the prime oscillator does have a bit of a divergence stacked up, but your money flow is still staying steadily in the green here. Looking to try to find a strong bottom, might be back down here at these equal candle bodies where we saw a lot of buying pressure. So back down at that 194 to really find that strong bounce and continue back up to that golden pocket. Really going to depend on how Bitcoin moves today though. Let's zoom this on in to that hourly, see where we're sitting there. MACD at a very indecisive point here, could swing back to the upside very easily if we do see some money flow coming in. But it looks like your volume is pretty heavy in the red here, but it is just a light selling volume, so it could be an easy switch back to the upside if a lower term time frame money flow bleeds over to your higher term time frame. You have that strong area of support right below us at 194, which would be a nice launching point. We would have to turn this area back into some support before we really continue back up to the golden pocket though. 15-minute looking a little bit like you're going to see that continued downside. Could find a very quick bottom side target there though. You do have that little bit of a psychological level at 200 where we saw this nice little V shape before we moved quite sideways here below this level I wanted to see us hold. That would be a nice little range to come back down to if we're unable to really hold that 200 on our short-term time frame. Then I would look back down to that 194 for a little bit of a bounce on that hourly chart and continue to the upside. Let's take a look at H-bar. I talked about that one yesterday and it kind of played out like I was hoping. Let's scroll back up to H-bar and you got that nice little solid bounce off of that lower level that I had talked about. You did push back up above our long running trend line here. Let's get that zoomed back out to the 4 hour. And you can see I had talked about wanting to potentially see that nice strong bounce off of either our indicator line or a golden pocket. And if we were unable to maintain those, really come back down to that 22.45. And as you can see, we got that nice strong wicking action with our candle bodies really close to that golden pocket there. So if you were able to catch that move, it's a nice little move to the upside there. We've got about a 13% move to the upside off of that move. Solid gains off of H-bar. Looking to potentially retest this trend line all over again though. Trying to really hold some bullishness for H-bar as we are doing quite a bit of battle with this trend line. Looking to also hold that golden pocket there, so if we can kind of come back down, get a very equal bounce with that trend line and golden pocket, it would be a bit of a bullish move towards the upside. We are waiting on money flow and volume on that 4 hour. That volume was very light green there as we are getting a little bit toppy here on that 1 hour, seeing a little bit of some selling pressure coming our way, but it would be a nice move to see us cool these oscillators off, really turn this into some strong support and continue to the upside. You have a bit of a target up towards that 30-cent range, which is that 50% fib line on my retracement. That's what I was looking for as a potential topside target for more of a swing trade here. You have that 4 hour looking like it needs to cool off just a little bit as we come back down to this trend line here to potentially make that move to the upside. That 15-minute was looking like it's going to see that retrace here. You do see a divergence stacked up. Your prime oscillator is heavily red and continuing to the bottom side, but for a positive note, you do have volume outweighing that selling pressure right now. Looking for a bit of a cool off, you could make a higher macro low here and really continue that trend to the upside. This trend line would be a macro higher low, so would look quite bullish if you can see that money flow continue and volume hold steady on the shorter term time frames, kind of bleed over into that higher term time frame. Daily profit saying H bar if you can. I'm glad I was able to get that knocked out for you. We got it's been holding up well, but may correct soon, most definitely. And that's where we've been doing a lot of battle in this range, trying to get back up to the top side of that long running trend line. Let me zoom that on out and kind of show you where I pulled that from. I don't know if you were here the other day, but it's pulled from these tops over here. We did a lot of battle to the bottom side of it. We got some bounces to the top side, really rejected off of it when we got that strong move to the downside and try to get back up to the top side. So doing a lot of battle with that line all over again and trying to hold this golden pocket here. All right, we got SWE requested as well. Let's hop over to SWE. We got SWE sitting there at some of those key levels I had talked about, wanting to hold that platinum pocket there. We got a little bit of some wicking action to the bottom side before we really got that strong move back up to this green box I had drawn out. And that was a bit of a range that was looking to potentially hold, just like with Bitcoin. And that green box I've had drawn out did a bit of some battle with it, rejected quite nicely off of the bottom side on those candle bodies before we really came back down to these lows here at 278, and it looks like we're unable to hold this as some support. Looking to make more of a macro higher low here. We've got this low off of the platinum pocket and could potentially get a nice little bit of some bouncing action back at that $2.50. That'd be that next little area I would kind of watch for, as your prime oscillator is heavily green. You've got a reversal signal that is flash, but your volume is very solid in the green. True 7 on the way up. MACD looking a little bit indecisive here as it's moving sideways above that 0 line, and all these candles here are very green. We just printed our first light green candle, but looking bullish for the macro. We do have that 1 hour looking a little bit indecisive as it is trying to hit that curvature back to the bottom side, but looking to try to maintain this 0 line as our candles are still green on the way down. Looking to potentially print that first red candle here, as this last candle is very light green and quite small. You do have your volume still being some buying volume here. Prime oscillator looking to cool off and see our next real reversal signal here on the bottom side. We are looking to potentially retest some of these lower levels all over again. That's at $2.50 where there's a lot of buying pressure. Get back up to this golden pocket here at about $3.04. Might do a little bit of some battle with this buying box on a shorter term time frame, like we did with Bitcoin the other day. 15-minute looking like it's cooled off quite heavily on these oscillators, as we are getting this bit of a strong move to the downside. Candles looking quite red here on our MACD, as our MACD line is to the bottom side of our indicator line and looking across the 0 line here. Your divergence is playing out quite nicely and your prime oscillator getting to that point. We might start seeing some reversal signals flash. I would really wait for a first and second reversal signal though before I'd really have some confidence in a long. waiting for that strong cool off as money flow holds, comes back in. You do have your volume being able to maintain in the green as the selling pressure does occur. All right, let's take a look at move. I believe Crypto Billy said that was on Coinbase. So that's a new project for me. Let me do a top-down break, a top to bottom analysis on that. Coinbase. Hopefully this is the right one there. We got Move USDT. It's a perpetual contract there. Let's zoom that on out to the daily. Maybe find a different one there, because it is in a massive downtrend. So see if we can find something with a little more history. I don't know how new this project is. Let's see. Let's see on the spot. Still in that kind of a downtrend, looking like you're seeing a bit of a double bottom here, so might see the potential for a move to the upside. Let's see, move. Let's see if Binance has a little. There we go. That's what I wanted there. We've got the downside action that I can actually pull a fib off of here. We got our bottom to the top, trying to maintain our platinum pocket. You do have a bit of a double bottom, as I was saying on that Coinbase chart, with that daily looking to get back up to our golden pocket here. That is our first little area, which we might see as some resistance, and that's going to be that 55-cent range. You see a nice strong rejection off of it before we made these very equal bottoms here and a move back to the golden pocket. Let's zoom this on in to our 4-hour, see what we're looking at here. Does look like it's a potential top here, as we do have your MACD getting some curvature off of this golden pocket. Might see that last little move back up to the golden pocket before you continue a downside trend. Looking a little bit sideways here on the MACD. Prime oscillator moving quite sideways, just switch to the red here, but your money flows super solid here in the buying range. Volume starting to pick back up as well, so it could be a very quick move back up to that golden pocket. Really cool off some of the oscillators just a little bit here on the higher term time frame and continue to the upside. 1 hour looking quite toppy as well. Got a divergence stacked up, several reversal signals on the top side here. Did see that little bit of a reversal signal here on the bottom side as you got this last little push up here, looking to make very equal highs there and looking for a little bit more cool off on that 1 hour. Do have that 15-minute and the morning looking like it's also like a SWE, where you could see those very equal bottoming points back to the top bottom side. Cool those oscillators off. See a bit of a double bottom with 2 reversal signals flash. Your money flow is, your volume is rolling over just a little bit. Money flow also going into the red here. So seeing if we can maintain some of these these volume areas down here at about 45 cents. That would be that first little area I would kind of look for if you're unable to maintain the kind of equal lows that were back up here at 48 cents, where we see all of this sideways movement before we got that last push to the upside. You can kind of see here we're printing another green candle, so potential slow move down as we try to cool off these oscillators on our short-term time frame and the higher term time frame as well. If we're able to maintain that 47-cent range here on our shorter term time frame, look back up at that golden pocket to potentially see that bounce back down here at that 45-cent range and continue to the upside. Got a very strong double bottom down here though, so not looking to really break any of these lower levels. would be a little bit bearish there. You do have that platinum pocket below us as well, so a potential test of that, if you're unable to see those higher term time frames really maintain that money flow, would be a potential move to see, especially on a brand new project there. Seeing a nice solid platinum pocket bounce is still very bullish, but looking to really maintain some of that golden pocket there as we do some battle with it, not get down to that platinum pocket. Kind of hard to tell with a very new project where you might go. Let's take a look at Aptos. I do have some time for one more alt request as well. So if you want me to take a look at another alt, go ahead, drop it in the chat. First one dropped gets looked at. Let's scroll on down to Aptos. I believe that's in my favorites. Nope, it's in that top 30 there. All right. Looking to do some battle with that platinum pocket here. Got your prime oscillator looking green and moving back to the upside as you are maintaining your volume as some buying volume here. You do have your MACD at a very indecisive point. I see username dropping Luna. We will take a look at Luna then. All right, got that up. Next alt request on the list, you can kind of see here there is a lot of selling pressure above us. That $6.37 is going to be that first real area to get above and turn into some support. Does look like you might reject a little bit lower. You've got these very equal lows down here at about $5.39. So looking to see if we can continue this range, really keep those oscillators cooled off as we wait for some of this shorter term money flow to kind of roll over here. You do have your selling volume here on that 1 hour as your prime oscillator is looking a little bit toppy, and that MACD is getting that curvature back to the downside here. Got very light green candles with no volume here on that 1 hour, so looking for that potential same move like we saw on SWI and move there, trying to maintain some of the lows. We do have 591, which could be a potential move to see short-term time frame bounce. If we were unable to really maintain that, I'd look back to the lows where we saw very equal wicks on our higher term time frame. That's where those candle bodies were on that 4 hour there. Let's make that a little bit thicker so we know that's a little bit stronger there. That'd be that last kind of level I would look for on a higher term time frame if we're unable to really maintain this range that we are in now. Aptos is in quite a bit of a big range here below the platinum pocket as we try to wait for that money flow to come back in. We do have that 15-minute looking like you're going to see that continuation to the downside, just like everything else. You know, the crypto market is kind of looking very similar with all the indecisiveness that we have been seeing. Breaking that indicator line, looking like we just printed our first red candle here on our MACD as your prime oscillator is also sitting in the red and rolling over. You are maintaining your volume as some light buying volume though. So looking to retest some of the lows of this range, make more of a macro higher low, maybe off of that $5.78 to get that push back to the top side. $6.57 looks like a bit of a strong resistance area. We did get a little bit of a bounce off of it back here before we try to get back up to that platinum pocket. So if we can really have some strong buying volume coming in, I would look back up at that $5.78. If not, that $6.37 might be that resistance area to kind of see us go back down and retest on. We do have Luna requested. All right, let's take a quick look at Luna. I don't think I've ever taken a look at Luna. I don't know where I don't know where you find these projects username, but I see Jesse said it, username and clown. So Maybe it's a good one, maybe it's a bad one. I don't know. I've never looked at it. And a bit of a downtrend here as I zoom it on out, but let's see what that 1 day says. Whoo, look at that wick in action. That's crazy there. Looks heavily manipulated. Oh my goodness, username. What is this project that you're having me look at? Is this the right one? That does not look pretty at all. It is maintaining the lows though, so I guess that's a positive, but it doesn't look overwhelmingly positive on our daily term time frame. You do have it looking to potentially break back down to the lows and drop lower. So, oh Jesus, are you trading this or are you just buying this or what? Are you just riding some crazy hopium there, sir? This is wild. You do have these lows down here from this wick. Does that say negative price? Oh no, it's 0034. So I was about to say, all right, we've got a potential bottoming here at 0034, which we could see a little bit of a bounce at. I know I don't say going to zero very like ever, but like this one might go to zero username. You know, projects do die in crypto. Those moving averages are so ugly. You just look as these higher term. This is the 900 here on the white, and it just immediately goes down. And then here's your 800 immediately goes down. Your 700 immediately goes down. Your 500 immediately goes down. So quite ugly there. I hope you're staying safe and not being too degen. Are saying vet BCH for next week. Let's take a quick look at vet since username wanted me to just look at a funny project. All right, we got a little bit of time here. We got vet making a strong move off of that golden pocket. Oh, no. Zoomed it back in. Looking to do some battle with that Luna K Diggity says Luna to zero. Are you winning, son? This Luna features. Oh my goodness. No, yeah, he is not winning. He is not winning at all. We got a vet looking to do some paddle with that platinum pocket. Looking at kind of bullish here on our daily as your MACD line is breaking away from our indicator line. You've got some green candles here, so looking a little bit positive. Prime oscillator looking a bit green here. You do have a very heavy selling volume though, so looking for some shorter term time frames to bleed over. 1 hour finally starting to get some green volume. You do have a reversal signal flashing, but your prime oscillator staying green. So potentially making a higher low on your macro as we try to get back up to this platinum pocket. That's going to be 031988, which would be that first real area I would look for some resistance on. You are in a bit of a trend to the upside right now, making some higher lows. Could potentially come back down to about these highs from here, 0283, which is the high before we really got that rejection down. Retest that, maybe see that platinum pocket come back into play. That's looking a little bit strong on that daily. Let's see what that 15-minute was saying. It is getting some nice cool off on the prime oscillator as you are maintaining very green volume here. So waiting to retest some of the levels, just like some of the rest of those projects I had taken a look at. You do have 00283, which would be a little bit of an area to retest here. You do have very equal candle bodies from that bounce, and the sideways movement on that range there did break to the top side of that quite heavily and are looking to potentially retest that and continue to the upside. we'll have to take a look at some other projects next week, because it is Friday, and I hope you all have an amazing day. It is almost time for Alexo Crypto. When y'all get over there, make sure to drop those graduation caps in the chat. Thank you to Jay Violet for dropping that link there. Make sure to tune in to that morning market report with OC Guy. We do still have Piper on vacation, so might not get a full breakdown of some of that data today, but I know OC will do his best. We also got Trade Academy at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to tune into that one. It's a fun show. We got a username saying BC on CCM tonight. Most definitely, I will be there tonight. I won't be drinking. I don't really drink, so I will be participating, but I won't be participating in the drinking. Make sure to check that one out. I will drop that link back in the chat as well. Crypto Coin Mindset and his Crypto on the Rocks tonight. I will see y'all there after I see y'all in that Alexo Crypto chat here in just a second. Make sure to trade safe today and wake up, because today's going to be a good day.